welcome guys. Do you want multiple apps running on single server, your APIs or websites, any VPS in EC2 instance? We're gonna do in this video. In this video, we will see how you can run two applications on a single EC2 instance. So I will start showing you from the creating EC2 instance, and then we will be able to run it. You can see here we have two applications running on two different ports. You can have your APIs hosted like this. You can bind your EC2 instance with the domain. So I have this domain zox.tech, which is I'm adding a record in the DNS server records to make it work. So we can access this using zox.tech instead of the IP address. This video will tell you everything step by step, so you will be able to host multiple APIs or websites based on your requirements like this. So let's get started. Alright guys, so if you are using a VPS hosting or the EC2 instance, the scenario stays the same. So in this case, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a brand new instance. I create a launch here. I give it a name of test, and I'm gonna use the Ubuntu, and I'm gonna use the default T2 micro because it's come under free tier, and I'm just gonna select everything default, everything allowed by default, so that we won't face any issue. I only give 8 GB as a space to it, so now all is good. So I'm just gonna hit launch instance. So we need to wait till it runs. So if I go back here and I'm looking for, so the instance is getting up. I also had a previous instance which is terminated, so this is the one we are talking about right now. So I need to wait till it comes and with the status of running. All right guys, so the instance is up. You can see that this one is running. We need to get into this one, and currently it has an IPv4 address, which is this one, but I want to assign it a elastic IP so that we can use it with the domain name and it won't change, because this IP will not stay. If you restart the instance, it can change. So we need to give it a certain IP. So for that, you can go to elastic IP. I already have opened here, and there is this IP that I'm going to assign. So all I need to do, I say here, associate elastic IP address. When you hit that, it is going to give you the instance type. Here, when you look for instance, the one we created is with the this ID 2646, and you can see that here, and with the name of test. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select this one, and I'm going to say associate. Okay, now once it is done, go back to the EC2 instance page here, refresh, and you can see that the IP now is updated. Now it will stick to this IP, and this IP will not change, so we can rely on this IP address. I also have added this IP in my Hostinger account. So for the zox.biz, I added a A-type record where I added the IP address. If you see this IP address is the same. Okay, I'm just going to remove it for now, or later on we will show you how you can call that domain name straight away. But before that, we need to set things up here first. I'm going to use Docker. So for that, first of all, I need to get inside this EC2 instance. So whatever EC2 instance or VPS server you are having, you need to use the command line for it. So I do click on connect. In this case, I can go by using this. It is basically the EC2 instance connect, and you just need to click on the connect button here, and it is going to open a new session where you are in using the command line. You're inside the instance. So first thing first we need to do is we need to install Docker, and here you can see that I'm already inside here. So what I'm going to say, I'm going to say sudo apt get and update, so that it install all the updates which is required. Once this is done, I'm going to install the commands. These commands I'm going to use in the tutorial. You can get the link in the description. So all the commands one by one is there, so that you can have you can run by in your system as you like. So the another one is here. I'm going to paste it and run it. These commands can ask for the permission, so you need to allow it. So make it work. So the another one, paste. So currently I'm working on installing Docker only, so we need to install it, and just make sure you follow the same. And now at last we say install Docker. So yes. Now once the Docker is installed, we need to add the user in the Docker so that we can use the Docker without using sudo. So we need to run another command for that as well. All right, so for the permission, I run a command. Now if I say here Docker, basically I can run a command to restart Docker as well. So I simply do that. So I say here sudo restart Docker, and if I say here Docker PS, so I get an error permission denied. In case if you get that same, either you can use sudo, so that if I say here Docker PS, just add sudo in front of it. But we already added the group here, so it should work. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna close this session for now, and I'm just gonna go here and connect again. Now we already installed the Docker, and so I'm gonna create a few directories here. First thing, I'm gonna call it mkdir, and this is going to be projects. Okay, so this is the, so we are already here. So I'm gonna say cd, and I'm gonna say projects. When you hit tab, let's say you put right half of it, when you type half of it, you just say tab here, it completes automatically, so you can do that. I'm inside the project directory. I say ls here for list all the atoms. There we see currently nothing there, so we need to create 2 projects here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say again mkdir, and I'm going to call here app1, and the same way I'm going to call app2. Now this type, when I say ls, we have 2 folders there, app1 and app2. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go inside app1, and I'm going to say touch index.php. All right, so now if I ls here, we have this file. So we say nano and index.php, and here I'm going to start the PHP tag, and I'm going to say echo app1. Okay, so remember this text we are putting. So I say Control X and then Shift and Y to save it, and we are back. So we have that text saved there. Now the same way, I'm gonna go back here, cd dot in one place back, and then we have ls, our both apps there. I go to cd app2 folder, and there when I ls there is nothing, so we need to put here another index.php, so index.php, and then nano index.php. Again, we need to start the PHP tag here, and then we say here echo, and this echo will be app2. All right, so this is going to show us the difference that we are running 2 apps. So all right, so I save this. Now we can see that the content is saved already. If I go one step back, we have 2 apps now, and app1 and app2. Now, as we are having this instance, if I go to open address currently, we will get the error, like nothing will work for now. So what do we want to do? We want to load our application. So what do we want to do here? First of all, we need to create Docker. To make the Docker working, I'm going to create a file, and I'm going to use Docker Compose in this case. So I say here cd, which brings me out from the projects folder, and now I'm going to run the command for the Docker Compose. Again, commands are in the description, you can get from there, and you can check the version of Docker Compose like this. So we have Docker Compose here. All right, so I go back to, now we need to clear the screen, and I'm gonna go inside the projects directory where we have all the projects. So our 2 applications are right here. Just next to this, I'm gonna create a file which is called docker compose.yml. All right, and when I create this file, ls, you can see it's right there. nano, and I say docker compose YML. This file is open now. Now we need to put some configuration. I will copy and paste the configuration here and explain you what exactly is happening. All right, guys, so here we are. So we have version number 3.8. We are defining services here. The first one is app1 and using Nginx. So we are using the Nginx Alpine. So if you go to Docker images, you get to the Docker Hub. So when you Docker Hub, whenever you want to use any image, like in our case, we want to use Nginx, so you can get those from here. So when you search here, you get the images. So it's gonna fetch the images from here. So what I say here, that get the image, and it is gonna download it from the Docker Hub. And we are saying, okay, give this container name app1 Nginx, and we want to run this application on port number 8081. Now the application container inside will have the port number 80, and outside of the container it will bind to 8081. So in the browser we will be able to access it using 8081. Now we need to create two volumes. If you are familiar with volumes, basically we are binding our local directory inside the container. So here we have the .app1. If you remember, we have app1 and app2 folder. So I'm saying like whatever is here inside the container, put it inside this path so that our application can use it. So we have index.php inside our folder that will be used. Now I also saying they're going to be an Nginx folder next to app1. We haven't created it, but I'm gonna create it very soon. And I'm also saying that, okay, there is a configuration file inside it, bind it to the internal configuration of Nginx inside container. Now that's all basically we are doing. Then we have here app1 PHP. Here we are using the PHP version 8.3 image it is. So it will again go to Docker Hub and fetch it from there. We are saying there is container name is this. Again, we are binding a volume here. And we are setting the Nginx only once because that's required. Not here it is required. Later on we have app2. Now, if you notice here, the port number is 8082. So this app will run on 8082. This is the app number 2. So we can see the difference there. Now, when I scroll down, we have two volumes that we are defining, app1 and app2. Okay, so I say here Control X. So it says save. So we say Shift and Y, and then I hit Enter so that it saves. Now we can recheck it by the same command, nano. We get inside, if it is there, that means it's saved fine. So Control X, we are out. I say ls here, and now we have our files there. Now, if you remember, I said that we have, if I go back here, we mentioned here there's an Nginx folder going to be there, and there are going to be configuration for each file. So let's create that first. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna say here ls. So we have three files. I say here touch. Actually, first we need the directory, so mkdir nginx. All right, and ls. Now we have the directory. I go inside this directory, and there I create a file with the name of app1.conf. Now when we go to a port number, how that port number will go to this particular folder, this application, that is we need to define here. So we say here nano and the app1.conf, and we open the file. File is empty, so we need to put the content. Again, I'm gonna paste here and explain. So here it is. So basically, we are saying listen to the port 80 because application will run there. So we are saying they are going to be the root, which is here, var www html. So in the Docker Compose, we mentioned this path. I'll show you once after this, once I close this one, and I'll show you like we are binding this path. So there is the index PHP file. So it is going to display that. Basically, that's the main role. And we are also saying here the application running on the port. So it's for the app1 basically. So I say Control X and Shift Y. Go outside. Now if I go and say ls here, you can see that we have app1.conf. Now I need to go one folder outside and say here ls. So we have this now I'm gonna go inside the Docker Compose to show you that binding. So let's see once again, and you can see here that app1 var www html. So it's telling whatever it's at here, put in there, so that index.php will be available inside container. The same way we are saying it here as well. So we need to create another file, which is going to be app.conf in the same Nginx directory, which is going to be working and telling that use port 8082. So let's do that now. So basically the port inside the container is 80. So these configuration files have port 80 mentioned inside. That's the reason you don't see there 8082. But here, this Docker Compose will bind it to 8082. Hope it is making sense. So let's do that. Now close it. So let's ls again. This time I can say cd nginx one more time. ls. Now we have app1. We need to create another app2.conf. All right, this is for the second application. So if you have 10 applications, you need to create this configuration accordingly. So now we create here ls. We have 2 files now. I'm gonna go inside the app2, and there we need to put the content. Okay, I'm gonna paste the content here. Same, we are saying work on the port 80. This is the app2, and the server name is here. It is gonna use this as a root and index.php file it is gonna look for. So now I close it and I say Y, shift Y, and then hit it. Now go back here, our content is there, then all good. All right, so let me explain one more time. We are saying listen to the port 80. So this will listen inside the container port 80, right? And then we have, when we go back to the Docker Compose YML file, there we are saying whatever is listening inside port 80, bind it to port 8082, and here to 8081. So we can access this application on this port instead of port 80. Because if you see here, both applications are running on port 80, it will create problem if we try the 2 applications on the same port. So we are binding to the different ports. So you can have any number here if you wish. If it is not used by the system, you can use a number here and try to use your application. So I say Control X to come out. Now I say ls. All right, so far so good. We are good to go now. So to make the application running now, in case you have your application where you want to work, you need to put your code inside these applications, and you need to set the root to your index.php or whatever the root you have according to the configuration. So now I'm going to run a command, docker compose up-d. This command, we're going to make our server up and running using this Docker Compose file. So let's do that. When I run it, we get the error. This can be the problem of syntax. So what you can do, you can go to the Google and look for YML formatter. I think, yeah, that's the one. So okay, so one thing, any credentials if you have in your Docker Compose file, do not use or put here, but we are just doing the testing so we can use it. So I'm just gonna paste basically the YML code that we are using here, and it is gonna tell us where is the problems. So basically, if you notice here that there is a spacing issue here, so if I go and space it, that error goes away. So what we can do now, go back to our instance, and we can see that we have the error right there, spacing issue right there. So what we can do, go here, give it 2 spaces. Now it looks fine. So Control X, Shift Y, and now it should be fine. So let's see if it works. So run the command again, which is docker compose up-d. This time it is pulling the images from the Docker Hub, as I told you. So you're depending on your internet speed, it will take some time and make things working. So we need to wait till it completes. All right, guys, so containers are up and running. So you can check using Docker PS. It is going to show you how things are working. So we have 2 containers. So Nginx is binding port 8082 and 8081 respectively. So you can see that 8081 is binded with app 1 and 8082 is with the app 2. So we have two apps running right now. So we check now. So on your VPS, you should be able to access using your VPS IP address and then the port number. In our case, we are using AWS, so we need to go back first. Here, we need to set a security group. So if you go to the instance, here we have security, and then we have a security group, right? So we need to adjust a bit there. So go to security group, and the security group was 5, so I'm gonna go inside it and edit inbound rules. I'm gonna add one rule here, and that's going to be all traffic. So I'm saying allow all traffic from when you put the zeros here, so it's like anywhere. So anywhere, allow everyone. So we will be able to access. Basically, that's what we are saying here. So now, if you go back, it's all up and running, no problem about that. So we need to use the IP address of our instance, which is this one, which is the Elastic IP we set up, and the port number. So I go to the browser here, I paste the IP, and then I paste the number 8081. When I hit it, we get our app 1 right there. The same way, the second app, if you remember here, the second app is running on 8082. So we need to copy it again, go to another, and paste there. And this time it is going to be 8082. So you can see that successfully we are running two applications on different ports. So this is how you run it, and on a single EC2 instance. Now the thing is that I want to bind it with the domain name as well. So in my Hostinger account, I already added a type record, and you can see the Elastic IP here, and this is same. So we are basically telling Zox.tech, if someone goes to, it should go to this EC2 instance, so we'll be able to use it. This is a testing domain, so I'm going to delete it later on, but for now I'm just going to show you how it works. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back here, as I already have the record saved there, and you need to go to one website when you update the record. That is basically DNS propagation, basically this website it is. Yeah, you need to put the domain name where you want to connect. So we have Zox.tech. All right, and the type of record we added was A. So that's the one I'm going to check for. Select the type here. I'm selecting A here and hit search. You should get all the green text. That means your site is ready. So for me, I'm in Australia. We get 2 greens here, so I will be able to use this. So now I go back here, and here, instead of this IP address, I'm going to say here, Zox.tech, all right, and hit enter. So you can see that we still get our content. So the same way, I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to go back here and hit it. So Zox.tech, you get it here, 2 applications. Now you might say that we are putting IP address here and here. That is another way to remove the IP and have a subdomain and some different scenario if you want to host your website. But for API, I think you will be able to run APIs, one API in here and another in here, or maybe as many you want in your EC2 instance that you can do. Even you can run the websites, but you will be having or used to put the port in that case. All right, hope you like it. This is how you run multiple websites or APIs on your EC2 instance, in single EC2 instance. Hope you like it. See you in the next video. Thank you for watching.